Okay, here we're going to draw a box plot, or a box and whisker plot, or a side-by-side box plot. They're all the same thing, so when we refer to box plot, we refer to this. We've got two lists of numbers. I've got a couple of numbers to enter in here, so I'll just put them in. And then 56. And that gives me two lists. We want to draw a box plot for list 1 and a box plot for list 2. So we go to graph, and down here we have the option of doing 3 graphs, but we want to set it up first. We want to set it up to be able to draw a box plot. So you go to set. Our first graph, which is from our first list, it's going to be wanting to draw a scatter plot. We want it to be a box plot. So you move the cursor down, tells you the types of graphs here. Move to the next page, just go box plot, which is F2. It says, do you want to have, it comes from list 1? Yep, so we want stat graph 1 to come from list 1, and we want it to be a box plot. Excellent. So you go exit out of that. We then want to look at graph 2. Graph 2 is also, I've chosen graph 2 by going to F2 there, is a scatter plot. We want that to be a box plot, which is there. And we don't want it to be list 1. When we come down here and change this to list 2, so then we'll have a box plot, and push execute for list 2. So our stat graph 2 will be a box plot of list 2. Our stat graph 1 will be of box plot of list 1. So if you wanted to watch them, look at them, you just hit graph 1, and that is list 1's box plot by itself. If you go graph 2, it's F2, that's group 2's box plot by itself. Now, we want to be able to compare the two because it makes it a lot easier to be able to compare the data. You go to, show you again, select. Select to tell us which graphs we're going to look at. At the moment, it's saying stat graph 1 is not being drawn off. Draw on for 2, draw off for 3. We want to put that one on. So now we've got draw on. So theoretically it should draw stat graph 1 and stat graph 2. And it gives us our two box plots which are next to each other. This is your minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, maximum. So you can look at both sets of data and you can easily see what's going on. You have to sketch these, so that one of the easiest ways to do that is to go Shift, Trace, and notice that you've got the little star there. That will tell you what the minimum is. If you hit the arrow key there, it tells you the median, the lower quartile, sorry, median, upper quartile, maximum, which is pretty cool. If you move down to stat graph 2, you can come back to here, and it tells you what they are. Tells you all the values that you have, so then you can actually draw them on your graph. Now remember, it says sketch, so it's got to have the labels, it's got to have the values, and it's got to be drawn to scale. So that's how you do it. That's how you do a box plot on the graphic calculator.